Hello, I'm Laura Johnston, Marketing Coordinator for Hennepin Marketing, and we're delighted to have John Lee here with us this morning. He's the Director of Client Services at Clicks Marketing. John, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thanks. Well, to start off with, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Again, I'm John Lee, Director of Client Services and a Managing Partner for Clicks Marketing. We're a search marketing agency who specializes in PPC. We do one job and we do it very well. But underneath that, it's not just PPC, it's display advertising, it's social media PPC, so that's a very layered product. About me personally, I went to college at Ball State University here in Indiana. Kind of bounced around different career options before I landed in PPC, but PPC is my passion, and that's what I've chosen to make a career of for the long term.
What is it about paid search that made you decide to become a PPC professional?
Sure. So, I kind of got into PPC by accident. And I worked for Author House, it was a book publishing company here in Bloomington, Indiana. I was in promotions, so I wasn't exactly doing pay-per-click at the time, but I was doing a lot of media research, understanding demographics, and who was where in the country doing what. I was ready to move on and found a job listing for Hannibal Marketing here in Bloomington. And I knew of Pat, who owns Hannibal, but I knew one of his employees who had previously been my manager at Author House. And so I decided to take a chance. I thought search engine marketing sounded interesting and exciting, so I had the interview, got the job, and the rest, they say, is history.
What is it about account structure that you've learned throughout your time here working in PPC?
Sure. So again, account structure is what I'll be talking about at Hero Conf. It's something that for a long time I've kind of been somebody I harp on account structure, that it's very important. It's a foundation of everything we do with your accounts and your performance of PPC. The biggest thing I have found is that you can't have a one-size-fits-all strategy. So if you feel like having a simple strategy that you can take, replicate, and scale with every client, every account, it's doomed to fail. Again, there are several roadblocks that can get in your way that are going to dictate, regardless of your strategy, are going to dictate how your account structure ends up. So again, looking at geo-targeting issues, and talking about budgetary concerns, reasons why you would have to split out campaigns. You have to be flexible. A one-size-fits-all strategy, like I said before, is doomed to fail. So think of it that way and think outside the box.
And are there any features in AdWords or Ad Center that has come out recently that you find particularly useful or enjoyable to use?
Yeah, absolutely. So Microsoft Ad Center, a lot of my peers complain a lot about Microsoft Ad Center. I prefer to think that they've come a long way. They released the AdWords or the Ad Center desktop tool a few years back, made managing their accounts so much easier. There was some export functionality to take campaigns from AdWords over, but there were problems with it. There were always errors that you would have to fix. It would take an hour, 2 hours to fix the errors before you could ever upload those campaigns, and it wasn't really worth the time. I could just build them from scratch and take just as much time. So the recent update to Ad Center desktop tool is now you can directly export campaigns from AdWords with your AdWords account ID and login information, and it'll pull the information out of AdWords directly in the desktop tool. It's faster. Two, I have run into very few errors in doing that. It's made my life a lot easier. So that's one of the better features I've seen come along from either engine in a while, at least in terms of productivity.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. And you mentioned social PPC, that you were really involved in that.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on it? Is it something that people should pursue in their accounts and campaigns?
Yes, with caution. So I absolutely think that the social PPC is a very strong platform. Everybody should look into it, learn about it, understand how it functions. We've got exciting opportunities. We've got Twitter, we've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn. Those are really the big three right now in terms of having a solid advertising platform. But the button, the dot, the ellipses at the end of my agreement is you can very easily spend a lot of money, get a lot of traffic, but not necessarily traffic you want if you're not careful. So you have to tread carefully It's very much like display advertising, in so much as it's very much focused on audience targeting, knowing who your audience is, and making sure that you target them specifically with interests in Facebook, even in Twitter. If you're doing promoted tweets for search, you can put in interest keywords, things like that, and really hone in on who your customers are. And again, I'm sure Hannafin is like Clicks. We've got specific goals we're trying to achieve, particularly with conversions. And so, social media PPC, you have to be very, very careful and approach it with caution and be diligent in managing it so that you make sure you hit your goals.
And stepping back a little bit, just PPC accounts in general, what do you think are the most important things to keep in mind when managing those accounts?
It's an excellent question. I spent a lot of time thinking about this question and how to answer it, and I hope I don't come off as a flake in my answer. But I'm going to answer the question from a fairly high level. I feel like to be a successful PPC manager, you have to be flexible. And I know it's a super simple answer, but it's very loaded. There's a lot behind that. The industry is constantly changing. AdWords, Ad Center, they're constantly adding features, removing features, changing the rules of the game sometimes, and you have to be flexible to that. In addition, your accounts themselves are going to change. Search patterns change, search traffic changes. You have to be able to respond to those changes and come out the end still smelling like roses, right? So again, be flexible. And again, if I were to go and try to hire PPC account manager today, I would have to ask the right questions and understand if that person is somebody who can be flexible or if they're just going to be another ostrich with their head in the sand.
Well, that's a really great answer. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with us today. Really have enjoyed it and definitely looking forward to hearing you speak further at Hero Conf.
I'm excited to do so and meet a lot of peers in the industry that I've yet to meet. So can't wait to see everybody in April.
Hero Conf will be on April 16 and 17, 2012 in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we're looking forward to hearing John and a bunch of other great speakers there. If you'd like more information or to register, you can visit our website at www.heroconf.com. Thank you, and we're looking forward to seeing you there.